We'll see. Huh?
I see it live, yeah.
And we are live. All right. Welcome to the Splendid Life Show. I'm your host, Ming Ooi, and my special guest today is Ida MatAris. So she has worked for several years in private practice in Manhattan Beach, specializing in pain management and workers' compensation case before opening her own clinic, the Healing Circle Community Acupuncture, in the city of Chino, California, in 2011. So Ida
Yes.
has been serving veterans, active military personnel, and their immediate family members for free um, to help them overcome or cope with post-traumatic stress disorder since September 2013. So, Ida, say hi.
Good morning.
All right. So, I'm going to ask you,
Okay.
um, how did you get started with acupuncture? And I know you have a background in traditional Chinese medicine as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, actually, how I came about or be introduced to this medicine is through from my own personal health condition. When I was growing up, I'm so used to having very bad menstrual cramps, where I have a lot of pain. I would vomit. I couldn't go to school, and at that time I was 14 years old. So what my parents did was that my parents brought me to see an acupuncturist, and within
Wow.
2 months all my problems are gone, even until today. And then as I was growing up, I see that a lot of health conditions can easily be treated with alternative therapy, or for you to just go back to basic eating well, taking good care of yourself. So I started incorporate that into my life.
Mhm.
And when I graduated from National University of Singapore, at the age of 23, I discovered lumps in my breast, and I was really really afraid, because I was thinking that, oh, I'm too young to have cancer and whatnot. Um, and also bearing in mind that both my grandmothers, from my mom's side and my dad's side, both perished through a form of cancer. One was uterine, the other was breast. So I was really freaking out at that time.
Yeah.
And that made me came across to learning healing modalities. And I
Uh-huh.
thought, like, wow, I really want to delve into learning acupuncture and traditional Chinese medicine, because this has helped me, and I want to see how much I could learn, and also how much I could like contribute back to society. And fast forward, in 2006, I completed my studies in a school here in Santa Monica and sat for my licensing exam. And I've been a
Mm.
licensed acupuncturist in the state of California since then.
I see. Wow. So, this personal journey of yours is really like your own battle with like I guess finding lumps and
Yeah,
just like
right.
um,
I made it like my personal health crisis, to be a source of my inspiration as to how to help myself. And I feel that if I could help myself, I could also go on forward and help others as well.
yeah, that's great.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
So I want to ask you about
Mhm.
acupuncture and how does it work to help veterans relieve their post-traumatic disorder, PTSD, yeah, post-traumatic stress
Stress
disorder
disorder.
symptoms. How does it do that?
Okay. Well, what happened is post-traumatic stress disorder is like a big blanket name for a variety of symptoms that could happen, because it overlaps to kind of like, okay, someone suffering from post-traumatic stress. One of the symptoms could be insomnia because they couldn't sleep.
Mm,
Another person could suffer from headaches because, in a war setting, all those loud bomb shelling and all those too high in terms of the vibration for the human ear and all those. So that ringing could be like something they feel headaches, and then depression, obviously, because veterans that go to war, they may not come back with all of their troop mates, and they may not come back with their friends or siblings who goes to war together. One may not come back, that kind of stuff. Anxiety for sure, because that some of them could be prisoner of war, and also digestive disorder, because I do have veterans that come and a bomb exploded, and like half of his gut is gone. So with numerous surgeries to sustain his life, the consequence of that is that he has like issues like gas, bloating, and stuff like that, because his intestine had to be like cut and shortened and resewn back, stuff like that. And of course, if for the veterans that came back and suffer more serious injury, like losing a limb or something like that, those has a lot of think about it as a musculoskeletal problems that they may have. They may have to relearn again how to walk, or if they have to use a prosthetic limb, they have to relearn all over again. And once you kind of like and set also for those who are like wheelchair bound, so you have to see that there's a lot of health condition that comes along with that, like you cannot exercise, and then the weight gain and everything like that. So that's how PTSD could encompass all those. Like, you don't really just have to be like a mental thing, it could also be like a physical manifestation to classify that as a post-traumatic stress disorder. And the thing with post-traumatic stress, not every veterans would experience it immediately. It could be something that happens 3 months down the road, 6 months down the road, or it could be 10 years down the road. Because if it's something that is associated with a loud noise, then let's say they could be very sensitive, let's say when during 4th of July parade or something, because the sound of the fireworks possibly remind them of ground warfare. Yeah, and then for another veteran, it could be that walking in a dark alley would scare the bejesus out of them, because when you go on a mission or something, normally they do it in the dark and all those. So yeah, so you have to be very careful. Like, you may not want to touch them on the shoulder, because they could jump, because they think that somebody is trying to jump on them, and they could have that flashback. So yeah, and how it ties in with acupuncture is this: I am a firm believer that acupuncture is a medicine of peace, because nearly everybody that comes and get acupuncture, for whatever health condition that they come and see me, one of the things that they say is that, oh, it makes me feel relaxed, it makes me feel calm, and they return to the world being a better person, or a less angry person. So knowing the power of that ability of the medicine to promote peace within themselves, because I may not be able to solve all those emotional stuff that they're going through, the scars that they go through by being in a war, but at least the acupuncture can at least help them to get to that place where they can process it on their own. So what we do with the acupuncture is this: there's actually a protocol where we just needle the ears, and there's like 5 points in your ear that we needle that correspond to certain organs or certain meridians. Okay, for example, there's one of the points that we use is a point called ear shenmen, and shenmen loosely translate is to to promote peace and calming. And normally by needling this point, it makes like the person go from a state of fight or flight to like they can let go of certain things. And then another point called the sympathetic point. That point is there to kind of like turn off the button from the fight and flight mode to like something of the parasympathetic mode, to allow you to rest, to allow you to not be constantly be stimulated.
Yeah,
and
on high alert.
Yes, because we're always on high alert. Like, what we experience now is so different than the people in the hunter-gatherer stage. In the olden days, maybe, okay, there's a bear at the corner, so what do? Do we sit down and have lunch, or do we run away? But right now, our fight and flight is like, I'm driving on the freeway and somebody just cut me off, or my boss just scolded me, so or my children are like stressing me out, stuff like that. So our fight and flight response is very different now compared to in the olden days. And the other 3 points that we use is the liver point. In Chinese medicine, the liver is associated with the emotion anger. It's not uncommon when people come back from experiencing what they experience. They do have some sort of an anger. It could be an anger to government, anger to God, anger to the enemy, that kind of stuff. And then the other point that we use is the lung point. In Chinese medicine, the emotion associated with the lung meridian is grief. So at least by needling this, it gives them an option to either express their grief or acknowledge that it's sad to lose somebody. Even though it could be a veteran that went through Korean War, who comes to the clinic. He's in his 80s, so sometimes he says that like, I live till 80, but those people who didn't come back with him, they didn't get to see what he gets to see. So Veterans Day is next week, Tuesday, so this is an emotional time for a lot of veterans, especially those who went to like either the older war, like the Korean and the Vietnam War, or those who went to many wars. And then the last point that we use is the kidney point, and the emotion associated with the kidneys are fear, because you don't need to be a veteran to be fearful if somebody were to like take your life away or imprison you and torture you. So that's that 5-point combination. In general, whenever patient come or the veterans come and we needle those 5 points, after 25 minutes, all of them, during that time, they might either fall asleep, or after that, they'll say like, oh my God, I feel more relaxed and all those. So I feel that, by doing this, I'm able to like provide a service to our community that strongly deserve, for them to find a little bit of peace within themselves.
Yeah. Wow. That's so generous and very noble of you to do that, because I know you
Thank you.
provide the service for free too.
Yes,
So.
I do, but it's not just me. I do have like other volunteer acupuncturists that come as well to be at the clinic. Yeah, so this has been going on for a year, and we started off really slow. Maybe in a week, 2 veterans show up, 3 veterans show up. Now we average about I would say between 9 to 10, and I'm also really grateful to all of the other service providers that reach out to the veterans that allow me to come and do a presentation. So I think probably close to where you are, do you know this community college called Citrus College?
Yeah.
I think it's in Azusa, or somewhere around there. So they've been inviting me every Veterans Day to come. They have a thank you breakfast, and where they invite the student veterans. They thank them, and then I'm there at the site, and they'll say that, oh, if any of you want to have acupuncture, I'm here. So. And we have people come by after their breakfast to get some acupuncture, just to rest and relax for a while. And this year, I think they're gonna have it for lunch. So I'm so happy that they decide to call me again, because this is an opportunity to let the student veterans know about services like this in the community. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just wonderful. Yeah,
Thank you.
and what you said about the 5 points is really
Uh-huh.
helpful. Like the 2 points to calm
The
the fight or
mind,
flight
yeah.
freeze response, the peace point.
Yeah, the peace point, yeah, the happy point.
That's
Yeah.
great. Yeah, and then about how it's connected to different parts of the body, the lungs for grief, that
Yes.
is associated with grief, the
Hmm.
liver is associated with was it
Anger. Anger.
anger,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Anger, and the kidneys is with fear, right?
Fear, yeah. But let me
Yeah,
tell you this, Timing, you don't have to be a veteran to experience anger, fear, and grief. So
I
that's why,
know. I
yeah.
know.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's why this medicine is so powerful in terms of helping people, and like some people, and it's kind of good because they don't have to share with me like what's going on with their life, but just put
Yeah.
these 5 points, it kind of like, think of it like a laser, like it hits nearly everything that could be like a hot spots for anybody who goes through a little bit of sadness and whatnot. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I've just been, doing a lot of reading and research
Hmm.
on like how our body actually, kind of stores different emotions, and
Correct.
it's
Yeah.
not just in our head or in the brain, but it's actually in different,
Muscles. Yeah.
yeah, parts of the body. Although
Correct.
like
Correct.
each cell, has like a memory
Memory.
or
Yeah.
whatever it is everywhere, right? But they can store it in different parts of the body, even though each cell in your body has access to the memory.
Exactly. I
That's
totally agree. And one thing beautiful about acupuncture is all about opening up the meridians that are blocked, which is very much a lot of the energy work and healing modality does too, is to, like open up the chakra that's blocked and all those. So with what I do, particularly for the veterans community, is to open that up, because the headache could be, like a block in the channel and all those, that kind of stuff. Yeah. So,
mm,
yeah.
yeah. So I want to ask you,
Sure.
how does traditional Chinese medicine
Hmm.
fit in with acupuncture, and what do you
Okay.
do with your patients?
Okay. Well, it fits in very well, in my opinion, partly because traditional Chinese medicine or the herbal medicine, people think of herbs as medicine, whereas I think of herb as food. Because think about it.
Uh-huh.
I mean, for us within the Asian community, we've been using the herb turmeric in our cooking, in
Yeah,
Malay
yeah,
food, in
right.
Indian food, and maybe a
Yeah,
little bit in the Chinese food too. But
yeah.
right now, if you read it, they'll say, oh, turmeric is an herb, whereas I say that no, this is food, we should eat it every day. And right now, when you read the
Mm-hmm.
news or anything like that, you see that, oh, turmeric is good for anti-inflammation, for digestion, so on and so forth. How I see acupuncture marrying with traditional Chinese medicine or even nutrition, as a broader umbrella, is this. Whenever patient come to see me at my clinic, unfortunately, we are always the last person that they see before they go see a surgeon, or before they contemplate about getting a cortisone shots or something like that.
Uh-huh.
There's a lot of education that needs to be done. I find that something like acupuncture and Chinese medicine should be the preventative medicine, and should be the your first place to go before you go see, like, get a surgery or something. Whereas in the US, it's a little bit backwards, but that's okay. Things are changing, and also partly because most patients, when they come and see me, they'll say that, oh, I try everything else and nothing works, and I want to try acupuncture. So having
Mm-hmm.
said that, most of the patients that come and see me has chronic health condition.
Mm-hmm.
Chronic meaning that they may have it for a very long time, and it's always never always one condition. They may say they come for low back pain, but then when you sit down and during the consultation, you'll see that they have cholesterol problem, diabetes, digestion, and then anxiety, depression, insomnia. So patients fail to realize that all those internal medicine problem may have contributed to their outward problem of the pain or the headaches that they're experiencing. So I find that if I were to just do the acupuncture alone, it's gonna help my patient this much. But if I help them to eat better and change their lifestyle, they're gonna go much better. Do you get what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Yeah. So to me,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like a holistic medicine. So a lot of my patients, I tell them that, in order for you to get better, not just better today, but better long term, because I'm sure you want to spend time with your grandkids, you want to be able to run with your grandkids and, go vacation. You need to make an effort to make changes in your life, because I'm sure among all the health practitioners out there, it's not uncommon for them to say, "Oh, can acupuncture do help me with weight loss?" But then they refuse to change the way they eat. I mean, to me, it's
Mm-hmm.
not going to work, and
Mm-hmm.
to me, that's not like the kind of patient that I would want to work with, because energetically, it's like they give me the indication that they don't really care about themselves, but they want to give the power to to help themselves to somebody else. Whereas I see
Mhm.
myself as a partner in health with my patient. Like they have to be the driver. I'll be their co-pilot. But even if we are lost, that's fine. But they still have to do the driving.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, that's a beautiful analogy. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. They may hate me
Yeah.
for it to tell them they cannot eat all those stuff, but when they feel better, they'll thank me for it. But that's okay.
Well,
Yeah.
can you tell us about a successful a case study of
Uh-huh.
somebody who had chronic disease and then
Uh-huh.
you've worked successfully to bring them to, more radiant health?
Okay, sure. Yeah, I think in 2012, there's a gentleman. He was, I believe he's in his 60s right now. And he has a history of high cholesterol for the last 13 years back then. And, or at least he's been on medication for the last 13 years, and that
Wow.
has not been stable for him. As in, like, every time he goes for a blood test, the number get low, and then 3 months later when he get retested, the number went up, that kind of stuff.
Oh,
So he
it's
came,
up and
yeah,
down.
so he just couldn't get it stabilized. And by the time he saw me, he was the doctor was saying that, oh, his PSA level, meaning something to do with his prostate, is elevated, so they want to put him on medication. So one of the goals that he has when working with me is that he doesn't want to be on another medication, like as in the prostate
Right.
medication, and he wants to not be on the cholesterol medication because he's been on it for too long, and for 13 years, if it hasn't stabilized him, he don't see how continuing it would stabilize him further. So I
Right.
told him, well, legally, I cannot tell him to stop taking those medication, at least the cholesterol one, because the prostate one, he hasn't started on it yet. So I
Mhm.
told him what we do is that I'll help him get stronger. And when he goes back to get his blood work done, if the numbers reduce, a good doctor would either reduce your dosage or
Mhm.
pull you off the medication and then monitor you from then on. So that's
Right.
what we did, because we put him on a lot of the herbs to help reduce inflammation,
Uh-huh.
to help lower down his triglyceride, and of course the most important thing was for him to change the way he eats.
Uh-huh.
And within 3 months, after doing a cleanse, like a 21-day cleanse, in addition to treatment and everything, he went back to his doctor and all his numbers were down, and the
Mhm.
doctor decided to take him off the medication. But at that time, the doctor said, okay, I want you to be off the medication, but for the next 6 months, I want to monitor you and have blood tests done just to be sure that the number don't go back up. And true
Right.
enough, now it's 2 years later. He hasn't been on the he's been off the cholesterol medication for 2 years already, because this is 2012, and
Mhm.
he never started on his prostate meds, because what we did really reduce whatever that need to be reduced with his prostate level. So he's a very happy man. And
Yeah.
yeah, and every 3 months, whenever he goes, when he's about to go for his blood work, he'll call me. I say, I'm very nervous. I'm very nervous. I say, why? I say, you've been doing great. And I only see him when he needs to refill his herb, or we just catch up now and then.
Mhm.
And then once he's done with his blood work and he gets his result, he'll call me and say, I want to show it to you. And he doesn't even want to open it. Like, he'll show it to me to open it for him and read it to him. Because he's like, yeah, yeah, you go look at the paper. So yeah, and yeah, he's a very good example of a patient who's compliant and willing to make changes, and now he's leading a much happier life. He bikes a lot around town, go like 20, 30 miles every day, or 3 or 4 times a week. And I think that alone contribute to his health as well, because he's a retiree. So, you have more time in your hands. So I told him you need to exercise, and he took up on that suggestion to go back riding. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's also a combination of um, diet, well,
Mm-hmm.
nutrition
Yeah.
and exercise, right? That
Correct. Yeah.
really kind of stabilize. So it's a new way of behaving in his life, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Like newfound wellness for him and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's great.
Thank
Um,
you.
so what kind of so you mentioned a 21-day cleanse. Can you tell
Uh-huh.
us more about mm, how is that done? Like, if somebody's new to a cleanse, what does
Uh-huh.
a cleanse do?
Uh-huh.
And what are the goals of the cleanse? And then what do you have to do during a cleanse? And then
Uh-huh.
kind of maybe difficulties you might find in a cleanse, and how do you overcome those difficulties and stuff like
Uh-huh.
that.
Oh, it's a good question. Believe it or not, I'm actually on the second day of the 21-day cleanse.
Oh, okay.
As a healthcare provider, I do the cleanse myself,
Uh-huh.
at least
Uh-huh.
2 times a year, because this is a promise that I make to my patients, that I'm not willing to do whatever that I'm not willing to put into my mouth and in my body. I will not, like, ask you as my patient to do it. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, if I
Yes,
ask you to
yes.
take the herbs, obviously I must have belief in it and all those. I've done it for
Right,
myself
right.
before I recommend it to my patient and all
Yeah,
those. So
we have
yeah.
to walk through the fire of our own medicine,
Right,
right?
right. So, well, the 21-day cleanse can be pretty intense for some. This is
Uh-huh.
like my second year of doing it, so it gets easier as you do it. Basically, what it wants to do is to pull your body of toxins.
Uh-huh.
We all are exposed to toxins all the time, be it environmental toxins, could be also be ingested toxins, because it's not uncommon that a lot of Americans, when they come and see me to be a patient, they always have at least between 2 to 3 medicine that they're on. So
Wow.
any medication that you take does rob your body of a certain nutrients. For example, woman who's been on like birth control pill, that actually depletes your body of a whole group of your B vitamins. And unfortunately, sometimes you're given birth control pill without much. Maybe the doctor didn't tell them, hey, you know what, you're going to have B deficiency. And this could be your, B6, B3, B12, and all those. And those B vitamins are really important for a lot of function. Um, in particular emotions. So, when people say, oh, her PMS is bad and all those, like,
Mhm.
okay, maybe you're lacking in vitamin B or something like that. So,
Mhm.
and also, for example, it's like if people are given antibiotics, what it depletes is a probiotic, which is the good intestinal flora that needs to be in your intestine. So, and also the biggest toxin that we ingest all the time, myself included, is sugar and hidden sugar. And I always
Mhm.
tell my patients, sugar is not just the white stuff you put in your coffee, but it's also the sugar in your or high fructose corn syrup in your A1 steak sauce, in your tomato ketchup, in your what do you call that? In your salad dressing, in the baked goods. If you love
Mhm.
cookies, you love candies, those all have sugars and hidden sugars.
Right.
So, and sugar in itself does affect our body and our health in many ways. I mean, for sure, diabetes is one of them, but people forget that over. Yeah. Oh, I think we got cut off a little bit just now. Is it okay?
I know. So
Yeah.
let's go back to that thought, because I'm like, oh, what happened? It was like
Oh,
a
okay.
square. Okay, so you said that something about sugar is
Uh-huh. Robbing people's
hidden
cartilage.
everywhere. Right.
Yeah, yeah. So what happened is that by doing the detox, you are actually giving your body an ability to pull the toxins of the organs and like eliminate it. And the other thing with most of us is that, okay, we don't eat well, and most of us have sedentary lifestyle. We don't exercise so much. So
Yeah.
when people forget that by exercising, you're actually helping your body to flush out toxins more through sweating and and everything else. And the cardiovascular exercise is really good to kind of like pump the blood to various parts of your body, and also to regenerate your cells and whatnot. So yeah, so that is like the trifecta. Poor eating, not exercising, and then medication. I would say that's like the three things. And when I see a patient who has this, and they have chronic health diseases, and they also
Uh-huh.
have a lot of internal health problem like cholesterol, diabetes, blood pressure, to me they are candidate for a cleanse. And I encourage them to do the cleanse for the 21 days. So it involves cutting out a lot of the processed stuff, like anything white, like bread, cookies, candies, all are out from their system, including rice. And then we introduce like good sources of protein, like from lentil, quinoa, protein from like vegetables and tofu and things like that. So yeah, it can be tough on a lot of people. So obviously no coffee, no alcohol. So imagine somebody who loves coffee or who loves to drink wine, they feel like, oh my God, this is too much. But they'll understand why they need to do this, because it's good for their health long term. Yeah.
Yeah. So you give them like a list of stuff, not to put in their diet, or
Yes,
do
yes,
you
yes.
also say, like, oh, well, so for this 21 days you can eat as much of this as you want, or this or this?
Correct. Yeah, yeah. The whole purpose is to have to increase your vegetable intake, because most of us don't eat enough vegetable, myself included. So so the rule of thumb is this: 2 cups of vegetable to 1 cup of fruits, because most people feel that, oh, I want to eat fruits, and they forget that fruits also has fructose, which is better than the sugar from your whipped cream on a frappuccino, but it's still sugar. So it's just basically to go back to basic, to ask people to eat food like in a raw form, much like a paleo diet, and also to ask people to go back to basic, to really cook their food and enjoy their food, because most of us are quick to say, oh, it's just so difficult to cook and it's better to go eat McDonald's or something like that. But what they don't realize is, by doing that, they are detrimenting their health and also their children's health, and that is a source of concern, because obesity is on the rise, and childhood obesity right now is like, it's growing. I don't see it going away. And a lot of the culprit is like processed foods and wanting quick and easy thing of doing stuff, rather than really go back to like eating the various food groups and all those. Yeah.
So I know you have a kid,
Yeah.
right? And so
Yes.
how do you encourage your child to eat,
Healthy.
yeah,
Okay, okay.
healthy?
Well, he's so I mean, like, no matter how much we try to help him to eat healthy, when you're in a community setting, like in a school or something, like somebody will come for somebody's birthday with a cupcake and whatnot, so he'll have it and all those. But we make it a habit to not have any of those at home at all. And then yes, we do have cereal. Yes, he does eat bread, and he loves Nutella. Do you remember what that is?
Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah,
hate
so
so
that's
much
like a
chocolate.
childhood thing. Yeah, he has those. But for the most part, he is very well aware when we tell him, okay, you need to have 5 carrots right now, and he'll eat it without arguing. And he'll say like, oh, I don't like to eat spinach because it takes too long to chew, but he'll eat the baby carrots, and he'll eat the cucumber and broccoli and celery, and he loves those. And we feel that's okay, because those are good vegetables too, yeah.
Yeah.
And he knows, like, if he were to have something like a bowl of cereal, so either he eats like about 5 carrots before or 5 carrots after. So we have this thing that, okay, if you want to have something sugary, like Halloween, right, last week, so we said, okay, before we go to people's house, which they obviously just have pizza and soda, we have our own dinner at home first, where we cook like noodles with some vegetables in them and things like that. So at least you're already full, so you won't eat all those, food in excess. Yeah. So that has been the strategy that my husband and I have when, with our son. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's great. Yeah, and you mentioned, I just want to underline that you
Yeah.
mentioned sugar actually reduces the cartilage in your body. Is that
It
what you said?
robs it robs your body of minerals and cartilage. So think about it: if a child, a growing child, consume sugar in excess, either through soda or through cookies and candies, and they're growing, right? So their bones and all those need to grow. So they could be have a lot of propensity for musculoskeletal problems or bone problems, because the bones no longer have the minerals or the cartilage that need, or that let's say a healthier child would have. And imagine that for a girl, because come a certain age we would start menstruating, so your body will have more competing demands. And women in general tends to be more susceptible to osteoporosis, which is a softening of the bone. So basically, consuming too much sugar or high fructose corn syrup in that matter, you are kind of like making it happen to you much faster than it should. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
let's say if they
definitely.
play sports and they get injured, they could have a tougher time to heal as opposed to somebody else. Yeah. And it's really
Mm.
interesting because I've been doing acupuncture and Chinese medicine for a good 8 years since I started in 2006. And right now, it's not uncommon for me to see children, maybe like 11 or 12 years old, being diagnosed with non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. I mean,
Wow.
yeah, fatty liver disease is something that you kind of like hear much commonly, even though you don't have a medical degree. Like, okay, you must drink too much for you to have a fatty liver disease. Basically, your liver is like so big and so fat. Um, um, but you're seeing that now on children. I mean, they don't drink alcohol as far as I could tell. So
Wow.
where's the other source of it is sugar, because what people forget is that when your body, your body has a quota as to how many sugar it needs, and once it hit that quota, whatever that is in excess, your body converts it to fat. So that's where the liver kind of like store it as fat, and if you don't
Mm.
exercise and all those, you just keep accumulating. Yeah, so it's yeah, if the parents or the adult don't make a change, this is just going to lead them to more chronic diseases. Yeah.
Yeah, so those kids probably drink a lot of soda and
Possibly, yeah, I wouldn't doubt that. The diet is typically like fast food 3 times or 4 times a week, and soda is readily available. But you must also think, Timing, the economics of it. If you were to go to a fast food restaurant, a Happy Meal is like what? I don't know, $4 now or $6, depending on
uh,
where you are. But then if you were to go to a grocery store and buy broccoli or something, maybe it costs half of that. And then for a family who has, where finances is tight, so they would say, oh yeah, a Happy Meal, I get a drink, a fries, and a burger. Whereas if I were to get that money, I can probably just get like broccoli and some other stuff. So hardly could feed a family or something. So yeah, I mean, that's one of the struggle that I see a lot of people have, like food choices, because they're either too busy, don't have time. Not uncommon, both parents work, and then some parents work 2 jobs, so come back tired, don't have to cook. So calling Pizza Hut is easier than whipping up uh, a spaghetti dish or pasta dish or something. Yeah, so
mm,
it's sad, but that's the reality of what's going on here in the US. And I'm quite sure it's like most of the countries where a lot of people have to juggle between family time, personal time, and career time. Yeah. So.
yeah, yeah. Wow. So we talked a lot about
I know.
different things today, and I just want to thank you for sharing so much your wealth of knowledge about nutrition and also acupuncture. And
Thank
I
you.
want to tell people that about. Oh, do you want to tell people about your clinic and where it is, and more about the Veterans Project you have?
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much. I mean, thank you for allowing me to come on your show. I'm there at the clinic every Mondays, Wednesday, Fridays from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. and half days Saturdays from 9 to 12 noon. And the Veterans Clinic is held every Tuesdays evenings from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. And it is open to all veterans, regardless of which branch of the military they're from, active military members, their immediate family, and we also open this clinic up to first responders. And first responders could be police officers, firefighters, emergency medical technician or paramedics, to come to the clinic. And we also open this clinic up to the immediate family members. So if you're a veteran and you have a spouse, your spouse could come. And also if you're an active, we do have patients who come, they are not veterans, but then their spouse is currently serving active military somewhere. So we say, yes, they should come too, because we know that they themselves experience, they must be worried sick of their husband or their son in a different country, being in a war zone and all those. So we say that yes, you are entitled to come and get the services as well, because we know that you're equally scared about what's going on or what's going to happen to your loved one overseas. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
So
it's great that you're doing that, and also you just do it on the ears, right? Just around the ears. That's it, just 5 points, right? It's
5 points,
really
and those
simple,
five
right?
points are powerful. As long as they have ears, we'll needle them.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, because truth be told, I may have patients who have no legs or no fingers. I mean, they either
Yeah.
lose it through an accident, be it a work injury, auto accident, or they're veterans, or even some of my patients who have diabetes and their fingers do get cut off or their toes get chopped off. Yeah, we may not needle there, but yeah, as long as they have ears, they can come.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's because the ears are representative of like
The whole
mapping your
body.
whole body, right?
Right. It's just like whenever people go for hand reflexology or foot reflexology, you know how
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they say, oh, the second toe is about, like you're not sleeping well, and then like the palm of the hand represent mostly your internal organs. So it's the same principle with the ear as well. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We say that the ears are a microcosm of the human body. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Well, thank you so much for sharing your time and your expertise with us today. So everyone, this is uh, Ida MatAris, and thank you again.
Thank you, and you have a good day. Bye.
Bye.